Welcome to Taurus TV. I'm Melissa Hoyer and thanks for joining me. The word cryptocurrency or crypto engenders a wide range of mixed reactions. Some will have a smile on their face, while others exhibit confusion, fear, or simply offer up a totally blank expression. Simply put, crypto is a digital currency you hold in a digital wallet. All transactions you make are encrypted, so the word crypto obviously comes from encryption. This encryption or advanced coding provides security and safety, so it's nearly impossible to counterfeit or to double spend. So my guest today has become somewhat of a crypto guru. I'm very excited, by the way. He has an eminently professional background as a solicitor and barrister of the High Court of Australia and the Supreme Court of New South Wales. He's the CEO of the Kaz family group of companies. Welcome, Con Kazacos. Can I call you Con?
Thank you very much.
I'm very excited to have you here today.
I'm
because
excited as well.
I mean, because I guess that word crypto, as we said, it fills some people with dread and fear, or others with absolute excitement. What does it fill you with?
Well, look, one of the things we left off there is I'm actually a computer scientist as well. So I've got that background and passion for technology. And that passion for technology is actually about solving problems with technology. So when people talk about crypto, the original concept for crypto was the tech. It was that, we're going to create something fantastic that we can use as a program that's got a reward, it's decentralized, and we're going to put that cool tech out. And then that tech resonated with a lot of people, and that's why it exploded into what it is today. So I think for me, it was always about the technology.
Yes.
Not so much the investing, and we'll probably touch on that as we go through the chat. But for me, I'm a big proponent of the tech.
So to a layperson, what is it about crypto tech as opposed to crypto investment, which is, I think, what a lot of people think they need to do in order to get in on the crypto bandwagon? What is it about crypto tech that makes it so exciting to you?
For sure. So what a lot of people don't realize about crypto is there is a chain. So everything's held on chain. So if we're talking about Bitcoin, we're talking about blockchain. And all the transactions there on chain, that chain's maintained by miners who maintain the chain. And people that are investing in crypto, it's like for them, it's a speculative market. So they're buying in, they're buying out, right? And for me, this is the disconnect where people think, I'm somehow investing in the technology when I'm buying these tokens or coins. Or in fact, what you're doing is you're investing in a marketplace, which is the asset.
Yes.
But if you're using the technology, it's a different construct. So you can use the technology for solving problems in the world.
Yes.
And dealing with things, as you said, maybe double spend, or there's a lot of applications for cryptography or crypto style technology where they're using it for validity of certain elements, and I think that's where people might get a little bit confused.
Yes.
And for me, I'm really, really passionate about the tech. And I think with the investing part, there's room for improvement.
Because I think with the investing part, and the perfect storm, the perfect example has been the last few months. We went from here and then suddenly, boom, crypto, it's over, it's gone down. And so people then who have invested money in crypto assets, probably without looking at actually the tech, are putting their life on the line because they've invested every cent. Is your word of advice to most people to understand the technology before they start buying the asset?
Well, I think there can be some very, very good technology, perhaps with not as good public relations, so it's not known as well.
Yes.
But there can also be, whenever you make any type of investment, obviously there's a range of parameters that you have to go through. And you mentioned the scenario where people might be putting all their eggs in one basket. I mean, that's a horrible thing if people have done that. I mean, and that's with any type of investing, you want to only invest, well, in crypto specifically, you only want to invest what I feel you can afford to lose.
Yes.
Because it is a new market.
Yeah.
And it is a market which is growing, and it's been through many cycles. There's been cycles of highs and lows, and we're in a bear cycle right now. And not financial advice, but we're in a bear cycle right now. And I feel for people, if you're making investments in the area, to do your due diligence on the tech is important.
Yep.
But more important than that is knowing the distinction between what's a protocol, what's a coin, and what's a token.
Yes.
So a coin is associated with a protocol.
Yep.
So Bitcoin is a protocol. Ethereum is a protocol, and they're coins. But then on Ethereum, you can have many, many tokens, all sorts of, different constructs, literally thousands and thousands. Now, they aren't a protocol. They're not supported by a foundation or by tech heads, although they might be, but not in a big way. And there's other protocols which, like Cardano, ADA, stuff like that. They're associated with their own chain. They're the stuff that I like better, Yeah,
because when you look at, I mean, I've got a very, 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 very small crypto wallet because I thought, I think you want to, I want to understand it. So I look at ones that are worth 0.0000002 cent of a cent, and I'll buy a certain amount, maybe $100 worth or something. But is that worthwhile, or is that just rubbish?
For me, that's akin to gambling, only because with a lot of that stuff that people want to get, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times your money, that's gambling. And there's a beautiful casino opening up here in Barangaroo, and I think that's a good place for doubling your money, or again, not financial advice, but I feel that people don't necessarily understand the liquidity behind those smaller
very small ones,
tokens, and there's not a lot of deep liquidity there.
Yep.
So you may put in what you feel is not a lot of money. You've mentioned $100, but there's people that might be speculating $100,000 on meme coins, and a lot of it is not deep liquidity, which means you can put your money in and might not be able to get your money out, and that's where people don't understand that part of the industry. Yeah,
because of course there's no regulating body. There's no government or banks regulating it. So how can us or anyone who is buying be sort of confident? I mean, is there a security system put in place?
Yeah, so people often say crypto's unregulated. It's actually not true. The same laws that apply to all different types of investment. They've still got your criminal code, you've still got your criminal laws there, and you've got other investing laws. And when we think about, that's the reason why we've got, Binance US. Now they've got the US licenses to do what the services they're providing, which is different to Binance as a whole, which is different to Binance in the UK, because the services they provide into that market, that particular exchange, and I gave one example of Binance, that particular exchange can do that legally and responsibly in accordance with the laws of that land. So people often say, oh, it's unregulated, it's this and that. I feel whenever we're talking about crypto, we need to have a feeling about the fact it should never have been referred to, in my opinion, as a currency. It's not stable as a currency. It's worth or its value as an asset. And for my mind's sake, assets, even you see houses nowadays up and down. Like right now, the housing market's going through a little bit of a challenging time. I love property, and property is my big thing that I enjoy.
Yes.
But there's roller coaster rides with all assets. And so if we think about crypto as an asset, we know there's going to be times when it's good, and we know there's going to be times when it's challenging. And I think it's that balance that we need to appreciate, more so than trying to. It works as a currency, insofar as the transactions, to transactional basis. And there are a lot of governments that are obviously investing time, effort, and money to maybe digitize their own currencies. There's a lot of different central banks at the moment looking at ways that they can do that and leverage upon the technology, which is good. And I think we'll see what I perceive will be the kind of alpha currencies, which are, central bank digital currencies.
Yes.
Out there, which will provide that stability, safety that people want.
Yes.
And it's also that nice balance between, hey, this is new tech and it's cool.
Yep.
And the stability.
And I think as an asset too, I mean, of all of the assets we can have, it probably has been the most volatile.
Absolutely.
Hasn't it? I mean, because at least with housing, we know it's gone up and it's sort of plateaued at the moment. But crypto as an asset, and if we think of it like that, certainly, as you said, has gone a bit down to, it's a bit bearish at the moment.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So Sharon, you have a very long-standing relationship with the whole Kaz family, of course. Peter, Con's father, you worked with him 20-something years ago. What were you first working on with Peter? Well, before Con was even, he was probably he was in his school uniform.
He was. So I'm originally from London, England, and worked for an AS400 case tool, which was a programming language for the AS400 IBM machine, which was the biggest selling machine of all time. And so I was working for Sign-On, looking after global marketing and working in Asia and the UK, working in marketing. And there was this entrepreneur down in Australia that had something called Lancer, who was really irritating and eating our market share down here from this English perspective over there. And I then ended up traveling around the world and coming to Australia with Sign-On. And when I fell pregnant with my first child, they suggested that I leave. And Peter Kazacos of Lancer picked up the phone and said, hey, would you like to come and work with me? So I waddled in with Charlotte. I was 9 months pregnant, and he said, you're just about to have your first baby. Just wait. You may not, feel like working. And I pushed her in a pram in 2 weeks later and said, I'm here. And he was my first client. And I owe everything to Peter. I owe the confidence he had in me to start working with him. And I mean, the journey of Kaz to when it was sold over 15 years was one of the proudest things I've done.
And the family, I mean, there's so much philanthropic work that you do. Obviously, real estate is a big area. I'm really interested in anti-aging, which seems like a bolt from the blue for me to be saying that, doesn't it, with an interview with Con? But that is something that is particularly of interest to you. What is it that you know about anti-aging that you are actually putting into practice and thinking that, hey, maybe I will live to 150?
Maybe I will. I think it's all technology. The attraction for me to that is all tech-based. And we're seeing products now hit the market with certain technology. And I think the technology I'm talking about is quantum technology. So people are talking about frequencies and using frequencies in interesting ways to treat a range of different things. And that's one of these things that I'm interested in, but more so also the proper nutrition, and a lot of my partner's a naturopath, so I get a lot of input from my partner and different supplements I can take to try to prolong my life or lower the inflammation and keep myself healthy. But my passion was in the realm of biohacking. So people say biohacker is someone that tries to hack their own biology in order to prolong their lifespan, and I hope I've been doing a good job, because I was an unhealthy kid. I was a pretty chubby kid, not the leanest at the moment, but I feel like I'm going back to the future. So
wow.
Hopefully.
So is there something, and I'm not suggesting you advise us to take this or take that, but is there like a thing or a tip that we can all be doing each day in order for us to, I guess, even just feel better and feel as though we are prolonging our life? Yeah,
so there's one thing that's got zero contraindications. It's safe, it's very effective, and it's just getting good quality sleep. So if people start,
I love that.
if people start with just some good quality sleep, and saying to themselves, you know what, I'm going to put that phone down. And for some people, maybe it's not possible, but for some that it is, if we just say to ourselves, I'm going to just put that piece of technology away, even put it in another room for a little bit and get that good quality sleep, and just allow our bodies to just naturally heal a bit, it is a good thing. I mean, someone like me that's a little bit more advanced, I do, something which I feel is safe for me, at least, which is I fast a lot, so I do a lot of intermittent fasting. I find that it gives me a lot more time to focus my mind on other things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not thinking about food all day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm eating at 5:30, which I wouldn't recommend for everyone, but and it just does. It breaks that kind of obsession of what am I going to eat now?
Yes.
What am I going to have now? But it's not for everyone.
And I think, and with Western society, food has become and does become this, okay, what am I having for breakfast? What am I having for lunch? What am I having for dinner? I'm sort of the mind, I eat when I'm hungry, which I'm not I'm not a big eater. And I must have breakfast, lunch and dinner, which I think is probably, hopefully, in the long run will be a good thing. I don't feel as though I have to sort of be shoveling down a big lunch or a big breakfast and a big dinner.
I don't naturally eat till later in the day.
No, nor do I. So do you get up in the morning? Are you hungry in the morning? Or you just
I'm not.
No. See,
But I think that's how my biology was wired.
Yeah.
So, as a kid, I used to be, I won't say force-fed, but I used to be, you got to eat breakfast.
Totally.
Well, Vicky's cooking
Yeah,
was
my
so
mum was
amazing.
very
I mean,
much-
she used to cater all our events, Greek
Oh,
family.
wow, yeah.
I
She
mean,
still
we
loves
just
cooking.
used to have the most extraordinary food on all the events that we do because Mum and your sisters would be there and aunties, and so.
And that's the thing about sort of, breakfast was always sort of honed in, it is the most important meal of the day.
by the cereal
I think
companies
quite-
that
it-
produce the
perhaps-
cereal.
That's right. Just throw a lot of sugar in it, and you'll be fine for the morning. But it's I think sort of humanity has sort of gotten over that hump that we have to have a big sort of chunky breakfast.
I think we just have to listen to our bodies. So you said to me just now, I feel the need to do this. So I think it is individualized. So for you, it might work doing it one way. For me, it works doing it another way. And I think when we try to just point blank, say a sort of blanket case, say everyone must do this.
Yes,
Then that's the danger.
that's right.
And when I said it as a child, I didn't want to eat my lunch. I used to sometimes toss it out, but they're like, yeah, you got to eat that lunch, So I think that's, that's something it's different and.
We're all hardwired
Yeah.
differently, each one of us. I mean, so it is very hard. I think
Very
when we do talk to nutritionists or anti-aging experts, there is not one plan for all of us. And I think you've nailed it because you really have to listen to your own body.
And you've been the change that you wanted to see, haven't you?
Absolutely.
You've created that.
Yeah. I'm trying every day, trying.
No, but to have that sort of, to know that each day that you do wake up and go, this is what I'm going to do differently this day, or this is what I'm going to do to make myself feel better.
Yeah,
Fantastic. So I could talk about anti-aging all day. We better get back to crypto.
Yeah.
So if one of our viewers wanted to, they've read up about crypto, and they've read up properly about it. They haven't just sort of thought, I've got $1,000, I want to do something with it. What would be your sort of word of advice, or your wisdom that you can sort of depart?
So first thing is understanding where you're making that investment.
Yep.
So there's obviously an exchange risk. So we see all these exchanges, and you see exchanges collapsing, and that's not a good thing. That's a very bad thing. So one is you need to do that due diligence of what exchange am I purchasing this asset on.
Yep.
And then two, there are ways to mitigate that exchange risk by a little bit more complicated, but taking those assets and either holding them on chain,
Yes.
so on the chain itself, or in a cold storage device where they're not on the exchange. So of course that means that it's not as easy to buy and sell that asset, but it means that, effectively you've kind of quarantined that asset from that exchange environment, and then able to in the future at some point, if you think it's a good time to sell it, or you can deal with it at that point in time.
I don't think I'll be showing you my crypto wallet because it'll be really sad and tragic. Sharon, it must be interesting and great and exciting for you to see how far Con has gone since knowing Peter all those years ago. You know, can you see a lot of Peter's enthusiasm in Con?
Yes, I can, and it's hugely proud for me that Con even approached us to help him with his business. I feel extremely loyal and connected to the family, and the fact that you came back and you used us for something precious to you, and it was a success. And then we asked Con for some feedback, and you wrote this beautiful piece for us. And I mean, what more do you want? That you've been with a family for all these years and you're able to help the children of the people that started you in business. And so hugely proud.
Thank you.
And you've got a lot of your family or parents' core values in you, but also Con's his own man.
Yes, yeah, I can tell that already. Oh, you've got your own passions and directions. It's fantastic. So I guess on a parting note, advice for CEOs out there who are watching this. How could you help them to sort of achieve success with cryptocurrencies or sort of related digital cryptocurrencies? What sort of advice would you give them?
Well, I'd say to them, look at the industry, look at the sector, because any way you can get paid is a good way. So if people want to pay you in any asset, in my view, as long as it's not illegal, any asset that people are willing to pay me in, I'm interested in hearing about it.
Yes.
So, it as a doorway to getting paid, it's a good idea to look at it. If you have if you're in the tech sector and you might have specific application for cryptography or crypto for a validity tool, or that's another thing. Obviously, those guys are more in tune and they're more looking at it. But for the guys that are a bit out of the sector, it's worth looking at to say, well, if someone wants to pay their rent in crypto, would you accept it? Probably, yeah. And I think that's something that we can all look at and say, let's look at it as a way to get more money in the door. So if I was a CEO and I was having a look, wouldn't necessarily put my all my attention in it, but have a look, and it's always worth learning about new technologies and new ways of doing things and innovations. So.
Well, next time I think we'll deep dive into NFTs. So we won't do that. That'll be another huge session. Con Kazacos, thank you so much.
You.
Sharon Williams, thank you. And thank you all for joining us. I'm Melissa Hoyer.